Alex Crook joins us to look ahead to another weekend of Premier League football. Crookie Monster, good evening to you.
Good evening. I'm not a terrible darts pro. I'm not a great finisher, but then nor's Benty from what I saw in his match against Natalie.
Oh. You wouldn't seen any finishing because he didn't have a chance. Oh, no, he did have the chance to finish, but he, I think, what's the word I'm looking for? Bottled it. That's the word I'm looking for.
That happens, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? But, you know, very lively Crookie. When Arsenal pick up a draw or a point, he's messaging me. Been quiet for a little few weeks in Man United. Rubbish,
Crookie, why don't you ask Benty how we got on against me on the main stage here at Ali Pali when we played 301 today? Ask him how we got on. Go on, Crookie.
Go on, Benty. How did you get on?
So, Crookie, give us the first story. Who have you been speaking
to? Yeah, so that's a quick move. He lost. He came second. Right, listen, let's start off by talking about Benty's team, Arsenal. They face Brighton away this weekend, looking to close the gap at the top of the league. Crookie, what has Mikel Arteta been saying ahead of the game?
Yeah, Arsenal well adrift in second place, of course, despite the fact Man City have basically taken a year off. The January transfer window is open, and Mikel Arteta has been speaking about the importance of Arsenal's academy rather than the window this month.
Well, regardless of the PSR, that's the first intention that we always had. The thing is what you need is available in the academy in the time frame that you need it as well, because we can have a lot of talent, but maybe that talent at the moment doesn't have a space in the squad. It's something that we have built over the years to create with the players that they were coming through, a space in that squad, so we can after fulfill those gaps with the players that we have.
There you go, Mikel Arteta talking about what Arsenal could or could not do in this month's window. I mean, I was joking there, Benty, but if I said to you at the start of the season you'd be this far ahead of Man City and still second, I don't think you'd have believed me, would you?
Do you know, I wouldn't have, Crookie, and that's the thing, because I always expected if Man City did have a fall-off, Arsenal was supposed to be next in line after the two previous seasons that they've had, but Liverpool have been fantastic. You can't hide that fact that all their top players have performed. They've been better than Arsenal, simple as that, which is why Arsenal find themselves in second place. But this is a tough game, Crookie, certainly against Brighton, because Brighton are down. They're in a bit of wretched form right now.
Wretched?
Yeah, certainly after the start they made to the season. They're in poor form. This is still a dangerous game for Arsenal to take part in.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you've got a good record. I think you've won down there the last 2 seasons. No wins in 7 for Brighton. I wonder if this might just be a good time to be playing them. I think what we can say now, and I thought Brentford away, a goal down, you could have been in trouble there, came back to win. I don't think Arsenal can afford any more slip-ups if they are to really Liverpool.
Cookie, do we expect Arsenal to be active in this window?
I think they're trying. The noise around Matheus Cunha at Wolves seems to be getting louder this afternoon, but I know Wolves, when Gary O'Neill was in charge, gave assurances that he wouldn't be sold in this window, and I think if they're to stay up and it's competitive down there now at the bottom, they need to keep him. But certainly he's one to keep an eye on. I know that Mikel Arteta is a fan of Mohamed Kudus at West Ham, but again, I think that's probably one more for the summer. So I think Arteta is almost setting his stall out there, saying, look, we're not necessarily going to break the bank this window, but he has faith in youngsters like Lewis Skelly, who's getting a lot of game time, and Wanyeri as well.
Before we move on, just quickly, because it's Brighton, you've got no sponsorship deals, have you, Crookie?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
No, okay. How do you see the game going? Brighton against Arsenal. Darren Bent, you're obviously going to go for an away win. What will score Arsenal win?
Arsenal win 3-1.
And Crookie, speak a bit more sense to me.
I've actually gone Arsenal to win 3-1 as well, so I'm in Benty's camp on that.
Have you really? All friends. Right, let's move on now to Sunday's games, and we'll start with Fulham, who take on Ipswich. Crookie, what have you got for us?
Big one, this, isn't it? Because Ipswich are trying to be active in the transfer window. They're looking at Ben Doak, a Liverpool player on loan at Middlesbrough. Ben Godfrey as well. I think he's in advanced talks with them. So they're certainly going to have a go in January. Fulham, one of the surprise packages of the season so far. They drew 2-2 with Bournemouth in a really good game last time out. And I spoke to Marco Silva, the Fulham manager, and asked if he's eyeing Europe this season.
Push for Europe? We are going to fight for the top half of the table. 100% sure was our goal in the beginning of the season. We are not hiding ourselves. Our ambition is clear, and it's not with words, it's with action. It's on the pitch on the match day. And when you are fighting for the top half of the table, you can fight for many different positions there. We are going to fight. Let's hope in the next few weeks, some players, months, we have the players back, because we have 5 players out through injury that we need really them. We need them for us to be stronger, but we are going to fight. Top half of the table clear is our aim. We want to do better than last season. If it's going to be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, we don't know really, but we are going to fight hard.
I've got to say, boys, Marco Silva is one of my favourite managers to interview because you ask him a question and then he goes on for about 2.5 minutes and answers everything you need to know. He's brilliant, and I think he's doing a great job at Fulham as well.
Do you know what he is? I watched him against Bournemouth, which was a really good game. I think they were probably people's surprise package, Fulham, the way they're going about their business. But I think for Marco Silva, the fact that he's got a Iwobi plan as well as he has, Harry Wilson, he's been fantastic. Raul Jimenez is scoring goals again. Crookie, I think he deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, I agree. And I think actually that's where this Premier League season for me is so good, because you've got the likes of Fulham, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, obviously, Brighton, as you say, with the start they made. The sort of mid-ranking to lower half teams are really capable of pulling off results, and that's why the likes of Tottenham and United find themselves in the bottom half of the table.
How good is Marco Silva? You touched on the fact that he's great in interviews and pre- and post-match press conferences, but as a manager, do you think he's maybe too good for where he's at the moment?
Oh, I think that's a really hard one to answer without disrespecting Fulham. But I think when you look at the fact that he had to sell his star striker Mitrovic at the start of last season, didn't really replace him like for like, but he's getting Raul Jimenez scoring goals. Rodrigo Muniz has got goals in him as well. He's got goals coming off the bench with the likes of Harry Wilson. I think he's rejuvenated Alex Iwobi. He's probably playing as well as he ever has. Emil Smith-Rowe's gone there and been a great signing. I think he's a really good manager, and his team's played decent football. And actually, in a time when possession stats seem to dominate, he's quite content for Fulham to be second best in that department, knowing that he's got weapons to hit on the counter-attack.
Right, well, listen, before we move on, let me get a prediction from you. We're talking about a Fulham side that are pushing for Europe. We're talking about an Ipswich side that are pushing for safety. What will the score be? I'll start with you, Darren Bent.
Ipswich win that.
I forgot, yeah, old team.
2-1.
Okay, and a bit more sense from you, Crookie. How'd you see it going?
I'll go 2-1 the other way. I don't think Ipswich are a pushover, particularly on the back of beating Chelsea, but I think Fulham will win.
Okay, let's finish by talking about a game I really don't want to talk about. Liverpool take on Manchester United. Who have you been speaking to, please say, Sir Alex Ferguson, ahead of this game?
Eric Cantona. No, I'm here. I'm at Anfield on Sunday, weather permitting. I'm praying for a snowstorm. But Ruben Amorim, the Manchester United manager, is speaking to the media today, and he's explained just why the club have decided to extend the contract of Harry Maguire by another year.
Ahmad is near. Harry Maguire is going to trigger our option. I spoke with him this morning, and I told him that he has to improve his game on the pitch. We need him a lot. And also he needs to improve as a leader, because we all know the situation that he had here. But we need him a lot in this moment. So we are going to trigger happily the option for Harry.
That's Ruben Amorim talking about Harry Maguire and United triggering an extra year in his contract. He also said later in the press conference, we are starved of leaders. And that's a pretty damning reflection on the Manchester United squad. He's spot on, by the way. Every time they concede a goal, they just trudge back to the halfway line, kick off again. There's no accountability for bad performances and bad defeats. And you do fear for United. I know they got a 0-0 at Liverpool last season, but this could get very messy on Sunday afternoon.
Crookie, I have to be honest, Benny's laughing at me now. I think United could get absolutely smashed to pieces. I really do. Yeah. It's not inconceivable that United could be 5-0 down at half-time, and if they score 3 in the second half, I wouldn't be surprised. 8-0, I know is nuts. We won't win the game. We will lose it. It'll probably be 4 or 5-0, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was a bloodbath. It really wouldn't.
No, I agree, and not just how bad United are, but Liverpool are ruthless, aren't they, at the moment? We saw that against West Ham. People like Mo Salah, who just wants to fill his boots. Luis Diaz as well terrifies me as a United fan. And like you, I think if it's anything less than 5, United have done well.
Okay. It pains me to say it. Darren Bent, I'll come to you. I don't even care about you, actually. I'm not coming to you. Crookie, how did you see the game going?
I think Liverpool will win 5-0.
No, I don't want to hear from you. Anyone here think anything? No. Benny, what do you think the score will be? Honestly, hand on heart. I think we'll get smashed, so...
Honestly, 3-0. But one of those comfortable 3-0s where you get nowhere near them and they take their foot off the gas. 3-0.
Oh, okay, well, 3-0's worse than 8-0, remember that.
Yeah.
Crookie, it's always a pleasure. Have a lovely... Are you watching the darts tonight, listening to it, of course, on your free-to-download talkSPORT app?
Absolutely. I'm very jealous of you two because I think it's going to be an absolute classic tonight. Don't go home early, Benty, for goodness sake.
Oh, that's never happening. Never happening.
Well, listen, we're trying. I haven't told anyone this, right? But we're trying to get tickets for the rest of the gang here.
Yeah.
And if we get one extra ticket, Bentley's driver can have it. How about that? Right, Crookie, listen, enjoy the weekend. I can't say enjoy the game at Anfield Sunday because you won't be able to do that, but I'm sure there'll be lots of goals. Have a good one. We'll speak to you in a bit.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.